The past 8 years, President Obama has encouraged illegal alien amnesty for certain groups, sanctuary cities, and a colossal welfare state. Meanwhile, the folks out in Indiana and other places are being laid off because corporations want to make a few extra bucks by moving to Mexico or another foreign country. Trump said enough. Thus, he won the election.
So that was Bill O'Reilly last night in the Talking Points, saying that Donald Trump's victory in November can be attributed in part to President Obama and Democrats ignoring hardworking Americans, he says, for the past 8 years and focusing instead on supporting illegal immigrants. So is that fair? Monica Crowley, online opinion editor for The Washington Times, and Dennis Kucinich, former Democratic congressman for Ohio, both are Fox News contributors. Welcome to both of you. So that was Bill O'Reilly last night. Dennis, let me go to you first then. In reaction to that, do you agree with Bill?
No, because the fact of the matter is, when we had this surge of immigrants coming in, it was because NAFTA passed. People were hit with low wages in Mexico. They came here in search of better wages. Most immigrant labor here has been exploited. They haven't been paid, or they're turned over to the INS if they complain about their work conditions. You know, the underlying issue has been trade. Donald Trump tapped that. But that started with Bill Clinton. It didn't start with Barack Obama.
Yeah, but I mean, that addresses, as you see, the behavior towards immigrants. But, Monica, it does not address the underlying question, which is, was more attention paid to these groups than to the American worker who was also suffering in their own way?
I think Bill hit on one critical element to Donald Trump's success here. Donald Trump was speaking to particularly the white working class voter out there in all of these states, Wisconsin, the Rust Belt, the Midwest. And he was talking to them in terms that they could understand and directly addressing the issues that directly affected their livelihoods, of which illegal immigration is a part. Because when you have this sort of unchecked illegal immigration, you have massive wage stagnation. You have unemployment. You have all kinds of employment problems in the country that are a direct result of that. Is that the only reason Donald Trump won? No. But that was one critical element to reaching the white working class that has been largely ignored by the Democratic Party. Also, as Dennis points out, the trade deals and other things, again, issues that directly affect their ability to work and put food on the table for their families.
Yeah. I mean, Dennis, he spoke so directly to this group from day one. Blue-collar workers in areas that had been hit hard. You know, I think about Michael Moore talking about the people of Michigan and assessing fairly early on. He said, you know what, they're going to vote for Donald Trump. And this is Democratic stronghold territory. This is the union worker who felt for many years that the Democratic Party had their back. Now they squarely looked the Democratic Party in the eye and said, you know what, you don't, and you haven't for a very long time.
Well, look, my wife and I, when we were making rounds in Cleveland a year and a half ago at various ethnic community events, we saw blue-collar Democrats start to talk about and talk up Donald Trump. The fact of the matter is, when the Democratic Party started to take money from the same corporations that the Republicans were taking money from, they blurred the differences between the party. They set the stage for these trade agreements that were awful for states like Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, and Wisconsin, and they set the stage for Donald Trump's triumph. So, you know, this is a disaster for the country, these trade agreements, and maybe Donald Trump will be able to correct the injustices that have been done to the American workers.
Wall Street Journal editorial yesterday said that the Democratic Party has essentially become a coastal party. We've talked for a long time about flyover states and that people in the middle feel like, you know, New York and Los Angeles basically don't get what's going on in the country.
That's right. And in fact, I wrote my column in the Washington Times about this, and I call it the Party of Obama and its bitter reckoning, because the Democratic Party of today is Barack Obama's Democratic Party. It is a far-left radical party, hence the re-election of Nancy Pelosi as House Minority Leader. They're considering Keith Ellison to head up the DNC. He is on the far left. This is Obama's Democratic Party now, but the problem for the Democrats is that it was unique to Barack Obama. And it turns out that the Obama coalition that got him elected in 2008 and re-elected in 2012 is unique to him. Mrs. Clinton could not reconstitute it. So if they continue down the path of Obama's doctrinaire leftism, they will continue to suffer the kind of electoral losses they did in 2010, in 2014, and 2016. Yeah.